do not marry them. If it is not evident that they like you way more than you like.
I actually get a real kick out of listening to this lady talk, although some of it is a bit over the top and I just roll my eyes, but there are some gems in here. Okay, this clip that I pulled out, I've talked about this several times, so let's reiterate this because it's important to contextualize it. Her intention here is really sound. She wants to help protect women from marrying the wrong guy, someone who's going to make a fool out of you, who's going to embarrass you, who's going to abuse you. But, and this is exactly what I talk about when I explain why people say marry a man who loves you more, it's out of fear. It's out of fear that you're going to be used and abused and betrayed and mistreated. But you cannot swing the pendulum so far the other way that you expect to be complacent in a relationship and settle for less. So in a healthy relationship, obviously both people love each other mutually, it's not like a competition, but love in general, love is expressed differently by men and by women. And when we think of love, we think of very feminine things. So those acts of lovey-dovey-ness, girly stuff, whether that's, poetry or lots of cuddles and big grand gestures, a lot of that is the feminine side of love. But the masculine side of love is more like acts of service, and obviously they like physical touch and words of affirmation as well, and quality time. But ultimately, men express their love through devotion, through provision, through protection, through service. And it's important to recognize and validate those things that men bring to the table. So to expect men to be like gaga over you, like more so, in order to help you feel safe, like he's not going to leave you, is only going to set you up for wanting to leave him down the road. So you don't want the man to love you more in that sense. It's very important for you to vet the man for his character, for the connection and the chemistry and the compatibility in the relationship, over and above all of those feelings that you have. But needless to say, it is so important for the woman to express loving affection to the man more than the man does that with the woman.
I literally have to force myself to tell him on a regular basis, I love you, because I'm just...
She's basically admitting here that she's in an unhealthy attachment. So her husband sounds like he's very accommodating to her avoidant attachment style. And they seem to have made it work, but it's really important not to encourage people or condone this type of dynamic. You need to look at how you can improve yourself, become healthier and happier and more secure in the way that you love. Because your husband, in her case, deserves that secure attachment just as much as you do. And so if you are still afraid to be vulnerable, to express your love to your husband, whom you trust, then that's not a good thing. So looking at what are those core wounds and how can you resolve them, and stretching yourself to regulate your negative emotions when they come up, when you're feeling that discomfort, so that you can become more masterful in experiencing some of those uncomfortable emotions and being able to connect and co-regulate with your husband rather than him doing all of the work. So we both have to be responsible, mature adults and stretch ourselves through those difficult moments and experiences with our significant other. Before I go, I want to point out one more thing that's really important. Now, maybe you picked up on it. If you did, comment below and let me know, but be honest. Did you notice that the dynamic that she is describing puts her in the masculine and him in the feminine? Because he's the one that's more affectionate and lovey-dovey, and she's the one that's a little bit more reserved, emotionally distant. I mean, that's definitely avoidant attachment, which is not good whether you're a man or a woman. And of course, the man should also be emotionally available or vulnerable if you like, but to varying degrees. The woman is definitely supposed to be in the feminine position, bringing more feminine energy into the relationship in order to be aligned with our biological nature. And that requires her to be more emotional, more vulnerable, and for the man to be more strong and in control and also emotionally available, just like she should be able to regulate her emotions as well. So remember the 80-20 rule. That's the best combination that I can offer you, the sweet spot. So you're going to be 80% aligned with your core sex, and 20% is going to be the anima or the animus, the other part of it. And that's a wrap. Subscribe for more clarity and nuance on psychology, vetting, and relationships. I'm Dr. Taylor Burrowes. Ciao.